What should I know about Veritasium?
It was under the blood moon. I felt my heart come. I held you in this strange light, a place where
So
shadows
basically, I'm
run.
looking to tie the entire world to Veritaseum.
Um, I've got Reggie Middleton with me. He's been known as the disruptor in chief, contrarian badass, Brooklyn's own Reggie Middleton, in a series called Veritaseum, MISADA. Reggie, why did you name the series that we're doing MISADA?
It's a mnemonic device for me to remind everybody that money is a depreciating asset. MISADA. It came to me because a few people have told me that I don't think like the typical average person, which is probably meaning I think more like a below average person. But uh, I hear a lot of people, the typical middle class and working, man and woman, and they discuss getting rich and making a lot of money and how much money they have in a bank account. And I explain, wealth can never, ever, at least in this particular country, be attained by amassing large amounts of money. Money, money in particular, is the most disrespected asset in this country. It's taxed at the absolute highest rate. It's the absolute lowest return, and it's treated the worst. So let's take right now. Suppose you had $100 million dropped in your lap, and I had $100 million dropped in my lap.
Be nice.
Okay. I gave you $100 of U.S. fiat, $100 million U.S. fiat. You put it in the bank. Let's say you put it in your savings account, like the typical person would, presume to do. I don't know their current rates, but my guess we're talking about 50 basis points, if that much. Okay, 50 basis points on 100 million. Let's see, it's $500,000. Okay, on $100 million. I wouldn't even want 100 million US dollars. You go give me 100 million, I say, hey, I'll take 5 million in ETH, 5 million in Bitcoin. I split up, a few commodities. I think the demand of commodities is going to drop significantly. I hold some cash, right, to fire it. But where am I going to put the cash? I'm afraid to go anywhere out on the yield curve for bonds because bonds are in a bubble so big it'll make a blimp look minuscule. But thinking these things through, the last thing I would want to store this would be cash, or what most people consider money. So money is a depreciating asset. Where do you put it? You put it in productive capital assets. And that's how you become wealthy. That means real estate, public equities, extreme bubble, private equities, extreme bubble. We'll get to that a little later. Almost anything besides cash. And if you have $100 million, you should be able to ride out volatility. Now, most so-called professional investors should know this, and they probably do know that. But that is the difference between wealthy and not wealthy. And over time, wealth accumulates. But it does the opposite of accumulate if you keep it in cash. Nobody should want money. You should have enough money for an emergency, right, to pay current bills and to pay taxes. Outside of that, your money goes into productive capital assets. And people who are very wealthy, if you look at people who have accumulated wealth but haven't had it for many, many, many decades, their wealth is tied up in private equities, public equities, etc. When they need actual MISADA, okay, they don't go to a bank. They go to an investment bank and they say, I need a credit line off of this productive capital asset because I don't want to move it. I don't want to sell it. I don't want a taxable event. Give me a loan. I'll pay you slightly above market rate, which is a bargain for them because I'd rather overpay than get MISADA.
Interesting. Now I know why they call you contrarian badass.
It's only contrarian with people who don't understand how the monetary system works.
Yeah, no, understood.